got, looks like quite a few people logged in already. We'll go ahead and get started. This is Roland, of course, and Earl Fisher asked me to fill for him today, so bear with me. Let's welcome everybody anyway to the meeting of the Redmond Kiwanis Club. And let's begin with our Pledge of Allegiance as Dave raises the flag as he can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, that clock. Good timing.
It wasn't.
John, could you give us our invocation, please?
You asked me to do that?
I didn't get a reply, so I asked John.
Okay.
Thank you anyway.
All right, everybody hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Yep. Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to gather in fellowship. Help us to remember that we are here to serve, not to be served. Guide us to understand the wisdom and simplicity, and remind us daily of the many who need to be helped. Allow us to be there for others and assist them in times of need. Let us pray for the sick, the lonely, and the hungry, and let us make someone's day happier by doing a kindness not expected. Further, on this upcoming Independence Day, we're reminded of all those who have sacrificed for our freedom. Let us not take that for granted. And lastly, we ask that you be with those who are on the front lines of our worldwide pandemic. Protect those that are doing their best to protect us. In your spirit, we humbly ask these prayers. Amen.
Good, thank you. Okay, we'll have some introductions here. I think I'll start with no particular order, but with our guest speaker is going to be Cory Nystul. And good to see you, Cory.
You too.
And your name?
I'm Kelsey, his wife.
Kelsey.
Okay. Good to see you too. We'll get to your program here shortly.
From?
Are you pushed for time?
No.
Okay. And another important visitor we have with us today. Let me see. I'm going to scroll these little pictures, see if he's wearing red. He is. So I don't. If we stand, Earl, you won't see our faces.
No, that's fine. Just tell Carl to put a check mark on his report.
But for everybody should know, Earl's our current lieutenant governor. We're going to retire again.
Again.
So good to have you with us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Do you have any particular comments you want to make?
Well, other than I'm so proud that you're doing what you're doing and, keeping the spirit of Kiwanis alive during these times of stress for all of us. What we do for our community, well, you just can't say thank you enough for what you guys are doing. We just appreciate you being there.
Thank you. I was reminded actually by a man in the other club, Rotary, that their organization, as well as Kiwanis, is affected by ceasing activities that are particularly fundraisers that are going to impact the club's abilities to provide funding to those needed people out there in the coming months and year. So it's a serious situation in that regard financially. Well, guess we're looking for possibilities. Any other introductions that I've not picked up on here yet? Any other guests? Well, let's have any announcements then for anybody.
On behalf of Dan Tippy, he reminds us Jericho table is Friday night. So Truman and Hannah have volunteered. We need one more volunteer for 4:30 to 6 p.m. on Friday at Church of God Seventh Day.
Okay, if anybody can follow up later, get back to Carl, that'd be good. Thank you, Carl.
And Dan will be away at the appropriate time in August and September. So presumably I'll be making the same announcement the next 2 months.
Okay, great. Well, I'll make an announcement that Earl usually does. You can see this bag I'm holding. Am I picking up okay with this?
You
Yes.
are.
Yep.
Okay. If anybody still wants one, the message is to contact Earl or Carl, and they'll get one to you. And again, those bags will be collected August 8th and taken to St. Vincent de Paul. We've talked about roadside cleanup, but I'm unaware that there's any date set for that yet. Has anybody heard different?
I think Randy is away.
Okay. Yeah, he's been earmarked for the one that's going to lead us on that. So we'll just wait till he gets back. Any other announcements? Well, then I'm going to follow an Earl's tradition and present a joke. It's, so
Is it your joke or Earl's joke?
well, I saw a mention this week. I read about this, that moderate drinking then can improve one's cognitive abilities. So we've all heard that happy hour starts at 5 p.m. somewhere. So the suggestion for moderate drinking be cognitively pondered before or after 5 p.m.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Okay, having said all that, I'm going to let Cory give us his presentation and take all the time you want, Cory, and we can ask questions
All right.
at whenever you want.
Okay. In 2000, I'll give you a brief background on Wake the World. 2008 in North Carolina, a gentleman was at his church and saw a bunch of foster kids, and he told his wife, "We should take them out boating." His wife replied, "That would be great. If you do that, you have to take all the kids though." Yeah, that's a lot of work. So that's probably like maybe 2007. 2008, same thing. Told his wife that. Said, "Yeah, you have to take them all." Said, "We could figure something out." So he got his friends together, and they took the entire children's home, foster kids, out for a day on the lake. Wake the World was born. It has since grown a national event. Oregon is probably one of the most populated events or states for events. We have 6 events. 7?
I think it's 7 now.
Okay, 7.
Yeah.
There's Central Oregon, Marion County, Lane County, Lincoln City, Northwest Oregon, which is Hagg Lake,
Isabella. I don't know where
Isabella,
that one
which
is.
typically Vancouver.
Yeah. I call it an Oregon event now.
So 6.
6. Okay.
Some of those events have also spread to additional events called Camp Agape, which is camp for kids whose parents are incarcerated. We do not have that luxury of partaking in that event here. The camp is held too far away.
Too far away from our lakes.
Last year we had 24 boats and how many families? 22?
We served 22 families.
22 families, 75 kids overall. What we do is we find boat owners and they donate their day and their fuel and their time, and we make it a special day just for the kids.
And it's for foster kids and the whole foster family. So the foster parents will bring out their biological children and their foster children and their family for a day on a boat.
Yeah. That boat, they stay with that boat driver throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
My wife works very diligently and working to try to match up the right family with the right boat and boat driver.
Mm-hmm.
We know many of our boat drivers and what they can handle, and have a little background on some of the kids. And so
I work
very
really
hard.
closely with DHS to find out a lot about the families and about the different foster kids. We're working with foster children, and they have all different levels of different trauma, different diagnoses and needs. And so I get to know our boat drivers really well and figure out what they're open to dealing with, if they're willing to have autistic children on their boat, or whether that's something that they're not quite comfortable with. And we work to match them up with a great boat driver. And the boat drivers all have a crew member that's a friend of theirs or a family members of theirs to host the family on the boat for the day.
That crew member can be highly beneficial. One, it is a safety security thing. You're never alone with the child. There's always a second person there.
Mm-hmm.
Second, we do our event as well as multiple other events. We help volunteer in Marion County's event.
Mm-hmm.
I drive one of the coordinators for Lane County. I drive his boat with his son. Last year, there was a little girl. She was probably 6 or 7, maybe. And each one of these kids has a very different comfort level, massively different. Some just jump right in, let's go hog wild and do everything. Others really we teach the drivers to baby step the kids into things, get their feet wet, just drive fast in the boat, feel the wind in your hair, that kind of thing. Well, this little girl was one of those very timid children, which is fine. And I was talking to her all day, and you could see she's like, I want to do it, but I'm scared. That's fine. We talked to her about it throughout the day, and the day's near. I'm like, you sure you don't want to go out and do something? Well, we've been talking all day. Like, I will go with you. And we have a ZUP board, which is like a knee board but wider. That's really a specialty tool. It is they're really amazing boards. Terrific company to work with. They are great sponsors of the events nationwide. And she's like, okay, I'll go with you. We'll go whatever speed you want. We'll go as long as you want. It's all about you. So she's okay. We get out there. Okay, thumbs up. Okay, let's go. We take off, and I'm dragging. I'm pretty much drowning off the back, but she's enjoying it. She's like, can we go faster? Yeah, we can go a little faster. So she gives them a thumbs up to go a little faster. So now we're at least planing out. And this is kind of fun. Can I get on my knees? Yeah, of course you can. So I'm holding the board and wrapping around her because there's 4 different handles. So I got her very stable. And she's like, okay, can you help me and I can stand up? Sure. And these boards have footholds, and they're massively stable. And she was just thrilled with herself by the end of it, that she conquered her fear. And you're telling them good job and you're doing awesome and way to face your fears. One, it's the whole day is team building or family bonding. It's also emotionally building for these kids because they're trying something new. To get that support from total strangers that they're doing amazing jobs, it's just astronomical to them. They absolutely love it. We have, like I said, we have a pile of ZUP boards. This year we're supposed to buy 6 more because of all the events. We're getting thin, and I'll get into something else in a minute. We have tubes, we have skis, everybody has surfboards. So these kids get to try whatever their heart desires. Most of the spotters will jump in and get wet and help these kids to be successful. Some of these kids, it's never quite for them. but they still have fun on the water. Sure, they get to have lunch, they get to have dinner, they get to feel the spray of the water, feel the wind.
At most of our events, Kona Ice has been a great sponsor, and they will come out and do shave ice for everyone for free. So this last year we were blessed by that for the first time. The other events in Lane County and Marion County have had Kona Ice come out several times, but the kids just made their day getting off of the boat and having lunch and then having a Kona Ice on shore before they got back on the boat for the afternoon. So it's just a day just to spoil them, to give them an opportunity to do something they would not normally get to do, and just a confidence building experience. At a lot of the events, there's kids that will get off the boat if you're on the dock helping. We have a whole dock crew that helps catch boats all day when families need to be dropped off.
Oh, I do.
And help kids load up again, and when it's time to go back out. And a lot of the kids just are jumping off and they're saying, "This is better than Disneyland." Now, most of them have not actually been to Disneyland, but it's
their mental thing, and that's great. And
yeah, it's what they think, this is their Disneyland each summer.
Marion County, as well as our event, that's what I do. I help primarily on the dock.
Mm-hmm.
We help fit the life jackets, make sure everybody's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these boats are $20,000 up to, there's some that are $150,000, $180,000. So we're trying to protect these people's investments, make sure we're not damaging theirs. So that's why we have the assigned dock crew. But it is truly enjoyable. While it's fun to be out pulling the kids and helping that little girl succeed. As every kid gets off, I try to, what'd you do? What'd you try today? Have you tried anything yet? Oh, I got up on the tube. Oh, sweet. Was that fun? I get to give them a high five, and they just love it. And it's just so much fun for them, and to see them light up.
Mm-hmm. Even if they just got on the boat, just stepped onto the boat and had that experience. Most of them, it's their first time in a boat. The drivers often, especially with the younger kids, will let them try driving the boat, and they have a fun time doing that. They love helping be the spotter, to hold the flag up in the air if somebody's down in the water or before we're getting started. So they love doing the flagging and just being a part of it. So for our older youth, it's a great opportunity for a lot of our older youth are repeat, like they get to come back year after year, and they fall in love with boating. And so the boat drivers have a great opportunity to talk to them about working hard. A boat doesn't just get given to you, so it's a great opportunity. My stepdad has been involved with the event for a long time as a boat driver, and my mom, and a big sponsor, and he's had some great opportunities to talk to teenagers about working hard, taking advantage of when you're in foster care, there's incentives for going to college, and they can pretty much go to college for free. So encouraging them to do that and to work hard, and it's something that they can work towards and maybe earn someday. So it's just kind of helping them set some goals, and it's just one day, but it seems to help.
The kids truly look forward to it all year. We know we have a personal connection with some of the kids that do partake in our event, and we see them around. And they do talk to us right away. Well, I can't wait for this year. It's going to be so fun. Yeah. That's good. That's great. And so, they are truly thinking about it all year long. And so, it's making a lasting impact to them. So that's what we do.
And we've, so part of our story in doing this, we started our event in Central Oregon. We had never been to a Wake the World event before, but we had heard about it from our family that had been involved in Marion County. And my mom said to us one day, she's like, that'd be so cool if you guys had a Wake the World event in Central Oregon. You guys could be a part of, and you could help out. And Cory was like, well, why don't we start one? We can do this. And that was 5 years ago. And so this year would be our 5th event. Unfortunately, the entire Wake the World board and organization did have to cancel all of the events this summer. It was absolutely heartbreaking, but because of the COVID situation and the liability and insurance that we have, we are unable to do that. Many of our boat drivers were not given a day off to do it. Our events are always usually on a Monday. So that the lake is a lot less busy. We can't do them on the weekends.
When we show up, a lot of our events, ours only being 25 boats on Lake Billy Chinook, which is a very large lake.
Mhm.
Marion County, Lane County, Hag Lake, Hag's smaller, they're about 20. But Marion County, Lane County, they have the 2 largest in the nation, and they have 40 to 45 boats on much smaller lakes. So you put that many boats on any lake, and it's going to super quickly overwhelm the lake. And so we try to be respectful of the public and not overwhelm on a weekend when it's already crazy. And it's a safety thing, because adding that many more kids is just not safe. We try to be conscious of that as well.
So some of the events are going on this year, but none of the Wake the World events are. The Camp Agape events, they have been able to work with the current, I guess, rules, and they are able to do the Camp Agape for the kids. That is an event for kids whose parents are incarcerated, and they're actually at a camp, and they are staying like a certain number of kids with just their camp counselor, and somehow they're able to make those 2 events work this year. So in Lane County and Marion County, they work Camp Agape, but not the actual Wake the World for foster kids. So anyway, where I was going with that is that we started this 5 years ago, and we loved being able to create this event and to do that for foster children. And then after our 3rd event, my husband and I went out for a date night, and we're sitting across the table from each other, and he goes, doing Wake the World is great. I love helping the kids, and I love, seeing the foster families just connect, and this is a great opportunity, but I think we should maybe do some more. So we ended up going into foster parenting classes and taking the foundations training through the state, and have actually become foster parents ourselves. And we received our first placement last year, exactly a week after our event last year. We were blessed with 2 sweet, amazing girls that came into our home. And so they were 5 and 7 at the time, and they're still with us. They're just right in the other room right now. But it has been an amazing opportunity just to get to know what foster care is like firsthand. Just the relationships with the biological parents and just the whole system, and it has made us even more excited about doing our event and providing that opportunity for foster families.
Through all the events growing, because there is so many and only so many days in the summer, something we have as a community, we call our own little Wake the World family, we've all gotten together and purchased trailers. We now have 2 trailers. This year we bought a second pre-COVID, so we're out some money that we can't use this year, but we'd all fundraised and had some money, so we could do that. In that trailer is all of our great Zup boards, tubes,
hundreds of life jackets
in every size. And we're now working to fill that second trailer because of our love and commitment. It has grown more in the area. Spokane, there's a new one, supposed to be a new one this year. There's people in Idaho trying, but the state is heavily dragging their feet in allowing them. They will not let the foster parents sign the insurance waiver. They're making it so only the bio parents can approve it. But they're just trying to do something nice, and they're not really helping them. But they're going to keep trying to find a way and to work with the state and make it work. And through that, that's why we've now got 2 trailers so we can help spread them out and move them around. And bigger events take the big, huge trailer as needed, and the smaller events take the smaller events.
The smaller trailer.
Smaller trailer, yeah. Ours being small and only 25 boats. But we have some of the most committed people and drivers I've ever known. Many of our drivers come from all over the state. My family drives over from Portland. My cousin actually drags his boat out of moorage in downtown Portland and drags it over just because he wants to help. We have many drivers come from Salem that are just friends of ours, some from Eugene. 2 years ago, we had a driver who, he used to live here, and I think he wants to move back here eventually, was driving over from Salem and came up the canyon just outside of Twin Sisters in Redmond. I don't know what time of day, but he murdered an elk with his truck. He blacked out, coasted, and stayed on the road for 3 miles before he finally woke up. And concussion, boat is full of guts and everything else.
Blood.
And he's like, just so you know, this happened. I'm like, don't worry, Kurt. It's okay. It's okay. He's like, no, I'll be there. We'll figure it out. So he, his daughter, and his daughter's boyfriend got up at 5 in the morning of, detailed the boat out, and still showed up. Concussion and all, so he's sunglassed up the entire time, just having a hard time, but he's like, no, I don't want to let those kids down. I want to be there. And that's kind of the commitment a lot of our people have. We have a guy from Lapine. He drives to Marion County, Lane County, Hagg Lake, Isabella, and then also does all their Camp Agapes because he loves what it does for the kids. And it's just amazing to see these people just commit so much time to total strangers. And it is heartbreaking through the events to hear some of these kids' stories. And I'm not going to tell you some of them. They're just absolutely gut wrenching. What some of these kids have been through. I'm like, this is why we do this. Our second year, we've been told about some of these kids. Like, oh, you should have this kid do it and this kid. And I'm like, okay. Don't know where we're getting boats, but we're going to find a way. And so Kelsey and I actually drove around. Like, I know I've seen a boat over in that neighborhood. And so we just went and started knocking on doors. Yeah.
Josh's neighborhood.
And started knocking on doors like, hey, I see you have a boat. This is what we do. I don't know if you're interested or not. We could use some help. And of the 3 doors we knocked on, 2 are very, very committed and still helping us greatly. So it's great to see. The founder jokes halfway. He doesn't know who it does more for, if it does more for the kids or for the drivers and volunteers, just to see the reactions and hear the stories. Did I miss anything?
I think you covered it pretty well.
Cory, what's the name of the foster kids group again?
Ours is just through DHS. The second event is, our thing is Wake the World.
Yeah. We are Wake the World, and our event is specifically Wake the World Central Oregon.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
Cory, how close to maxed out do you think the Central Oregon event is? Could you expand to a second lake if you needed to?
We could. Lake Billy's so big though, and we can take over the whole lake and still barely see anybody.
At this point, our event has only needed to use like one arm of the lake at a time. For a while, we were on the Deschutes arm. Last year, we switched it to the Crooked River arm. That worked out really well for location-wise, having our shore area closer to the docks for everyone. But there's definitely the lake is so huge. I don't think we would ever need a different lake, but
The downside
use
of that being like,
Mhm.
when we did start, everybody around here has their favorite lake. There's Cultus, there's Pineville, there's Lake Bailey, there's, you know, whatever. Many of our friends like, use Pineville. Pineville's the best. Well, as of this week, 2 boat ramps are shut down at Pineville, so that makes it much smaller. Cultus Lake is just, it's nice, but it's cold and it's a long ways away.
And there's not a great day use area for a large event.
Yeah. So if we had to, we probably could, but none of them are really optimal, like Lake Billy, where it's hundreds of feet deep and massively wide.
The only issue we run into occasionally, and that's we have to adjust the date, or have had to adjust the date of our event. Initially, our event was always early in July, like the weekend after 4th of July. But we did end up having to change that to the first, we always do our event the first Monday of August. And that is based on the algae bloom alerts that we get. So that can be tricky sometimes, but and we have had to consider other lakes. Last year, we almost had to change lakes because of the algae bloom, but it ended up working out. And we got permission. They weren't testing the lake last year anymore. They just gave an algae bloom alert, like a blanket for the whole summer. And so we worked really closely with DHS all the way up to the very, very top. And they said, go ahead with your event. Like, people are still using the lake. You know, you're fine. So we got permission to take all the kids out.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
I just was admiring you for all the time you're giving. And if you don't mind, I ask a personal question.
Yeah.
Do you have really flexible work that you do that allows you to schedule these? Or how in the heck do you do this?
Some. When we started, well, Kelsey's a teacher.
Okay.
So that helps greatly.
I'm a teacher, so it helps a lot. And having the event at the beginning of August, as soon as school gets out, I can continue to work on fine-tuning all the major details. So that helps a lot. Then
I do a lot of things, have done a lot of things. Everybody that I've worked for has been very open and willing to work with me. I currently work self-employed as well as for a contractor friend. And that friend I've worked for in the past, he started out as just a friend and a sponsor. Now he's a sponsor and bought a different boat so that way he could help drive as well. And so he, as long as I'm getting my job done, he doesn't care what hours I work. And being self-employed, I can kind of flex my hours as needed as well.
And let's just be real.
What?
Who does most of the work? Cory does a lot of the fundraising starting in January, and a lot of the informing DHS. So in January through June, my schedule is not flexible. So he will attend different meetings. He'll go drop by different businesses to recruit sponsors for the event, and he kind of takes care of that part of it. And then I take care of all the other nitty-gritty details, working with DHS to get families signed up. One of the issues we do have when you're working with kids in trauma, at any moment they can have a total breakdown. And so sometimes the day of the event, we have families that don't show up. There's also a lot of changes, kids moving around to different foster homes. And so one foster family will sign them up for it, and then they're not there with that family anymore the day of the event. So I do a lot of follow-up. I have permission to call all the families, and I call them multiple times to check in and see, you know, are you guys still attending? Is this your whole group? Because we do like to do t-shirts for all of them. So I'm also trying to organize the t-shirts, and I'm providing enough food and making sure, because we do lunch and dinner for all the volunteers and for all the families. So I coordinate and organize all of that as well.
Do you want us to volunteer for something?
Well, I am always, so I coordinate the volunteers as well, and I am always looking for more people to help out on shore, especially with the food portion of it, and then Cory with the dock crew. So we are always open. A lot of people are like, well, I can't really volunteer for your event because I don't have a boat. And most of my volunteers, the majority of the number of volunteers are actually people who are on shore. So helping greet families, helping them know where the restrooms are, helping them get checked in.
Life jacket fitting.
Life jacket fitting station. That's a huge one first thing in the morning, getting all the kids fitted appropriately and correctly with life jackets. We also have a first aid person on shore. So sometimes Jim needs a little help with his first aid station.
Worst injury we've had was one of our drivers being crazy by himself on his own boat and slipped and cut his own foot. Other than that, the worst he's ever had to deal with is a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Which we like.
Band-Aids are great.
And yet again, another super committed guy. He's the mayor of Detroit, Oregon. And he drives every Monday to another event. Just that way there's a certified first aid person on site.
Cory, I might make a suggestion to you guys. Send Carl all of the sponsorship information.
Yeah.
And because some of us small businesses, even the club itself, could potentially be a sponsor. I don't see why that. I mean, we'd obviously have to talk about that, but I would encourage you to send that stuff along, and then Carl can send it out to each of us members.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Also, Cory, if you need help with barbecuing, we have a few people that can help with that, and potentially we have a Traeger trailer barbecue that we could help with potentially too.
We did barbecuing first couple years. We had some hiccups the second year. The third year we decided it was too hard because it was just another person to get. And that year the state started not allowing barbecuing at the state parks.
At that time in August, we were not allowed to have the barbecue. We had it on hold. We were all set that third year to do the barbecuing because they have a big one down there that uses charcoal briquettes. And we had it all set, and then they called us like a week or two before and said, no, you can't use it because of the fire danger. And so we switched and we communicated with Pappy's Pizza in Redmond, and they were willing to give us an incredible deal on pizzas. So that's what we've been doing the last couple of years, but we are definitely open next year for other options.
Yeah, we're definitely not opposed to it.
For sure, not opposed to it.
Depends upon what the weather and state does. So
yeah, what was happening a lot is that I was solely trying to put together the whole barbecue thing, and it was just getting a little overwhelming. So yeah, we're always looking for people to help with food.
Anybody other questions? Okay. Am I heard okay?
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll close with a final thought. I heard this recently, so I thought it's good repeating. Being true to oneself sets a good example for others, but also keeps us on our toes. So have a good week, a great 4th of July weekend. Stay safe, in or out of the water.
Yeah.
We'll be in the water.
Okay. Get wet.
Oh yeah, our girls are looking forward to it.
Yeah, our foster girls thankfully love the water, so they fit right into our family.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. You too. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good weekend. See you next week.